Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to this week's Weekly Energy Boost. My name is Elisheva, and I'm here with Yehuda Ashkenazi, who you may remember from an episode we did in July, where we spoke about the power of healing and helping others heal and connecting to our true self as a part of the healing process. And Yehuda is back with us today because this week is, as we've been talking about the past few weeks, this is the first 10 days of the month of Libra are some of the most formative days of the year, in the same way that a human being spends time in its mother's womb. These 10 days are like going back to the womb for us, and we're able to achieve a rebirth, a remarkable transformation if we put our mind and our intention to it. So Yehuda, who is not only a Kabbalah teacher, but also our sacred sounds and meditation, one of our most inspired meditation teachers at the Kabbalah Centre, to help us do this work and take advantage of this week's energy, not only from a understanding and intellectual space, but really from a heart space, embodying and operating at a frequency that will allow us to do this work on a level that most of us, I don't think, have ever done before. Weekly Energy Boost is a 7-day spiritual weather forecast where every week we provide our listeners with the most powerful and practical tools to navigate the coming 7 days. We do that by gleaning through the wisdom of Kabbalah and picking the most powerful tools and wisdom to share. Inevitably, every episode unearths wisdom and tools that you can use anytime. And this is no different. Yehuda has a series that he does every month that's a combination of consciousness and different vibrations, different frequencies, music. He's a musician in his own right. And he's going to be here today not only to discuss this idea with me, but also at the end of today's episode, there's actually going to be an experiential, a meditation. And for those of you that have been listening, I don't know how many of you realize, but the episode Yehuda did with us in July is our most listened to episode ever in the history of Weekly Energy Boost. So I'm sure that this is an episode you're going to want to listen to on repeat, as well as share with as many people as possible. So Yehuda, before we get into the unique qualities of this week and how we are going to support everyone in taking advantage of the energy, can you share with us a little bit about what you do and how you incorporate the Kabbalistic wisdom and tools into the experiences you create for us?
Sure. So, hi Elisheva, and hi to everyone who's listening or going to listen later. I want first of all to thank you, Elisheva, for inviting me, I should say again, to the podcast and giving me the opportunity to share something maybe different with the listeners of Weekly Energy Boost. And I must say that it was very inspiring to me to hear that this type of episode that we did together last time, as you mentioned now, there were so many people who listened to it. And I'm saying it not because I was involved in it, but because of the type of energy together we wanted to deliver, which is more connected, as you mentioned, and today we're going to delve more into it, into energy that is coming from another dimension inside of each one of us, which is more the heart space, less talking to the intellect of our listeners. So, with the respect to the level of the intellect that we all have, the Sacred Sounds experience / meditation started in a different format around 8 years ago with the guidance, initiation of our teacher, Karen Berg. Karen started a project that was very different than anything that we ever offered to our students and communities, which Karen called it the Lighthouse. And it was a local project here in Los Angeles We had around 2 months of different sessions, mainly delving into different practices and meditations. And the idea is creating the space. And this is what really, around everything that I do with the sacred sounds, creating the space for each one of us, students, and we have many newcomers to the Kabbalah Center that actually joining those sessions before even taking Kabbalah 1, creating the space for the individual to be able to access another part that exists inside of us. So when we speak about the depth of the wisdom of Kabbalah, I mentioned very often in my sessions that even though in the eyes of the viewers it is a meditation practice, for me it is much deeper than that, because it's all based on the very deep foundation of the wisdom of Kabbalah. One of the things, Rabbi Elazar Azkari, this is the name of one of the Kabbalists who lived 400 years ago, and he was a student of Rabbi Isaac Luria, one of the what we call the spiritual giants, one of the most important figures in the not only history but the evolution of bringing the wisdom of Kabbalah to the world. Rabbi Elazar Azkari writes in one of his books that when a person sits with himself, creating a space, quiet space, to delve into a deeper dimension within, which is very challenging for many people, especially in our generation, with all the stimulations of this world and the media and everything around. He says that at the time that a person is creating to enter into those spaces, the level of wisdom that can be awakened inside, the level of clarity that can be awakened inside, the ability of the individual to access their intuitive parts will be, this is his words, will be 7 times more than any study that the person will do. Meaning that if I take a book, the most powerful book, and read the wisdom, if I take a class and listen to the most powerful wisdom, the impact over my life, not only at the moment, but over my life, the next day, the following week, my ability to apply, to have the ability to apply what I learned that was inspiring me, my ability to apply that will be 7 times more when I'm taking that time to enter into a deeper space, to allow a deeper connection with my own soul, which is, as we teach in Kabbalah, there is a verse the Kabbalists use, Nishmat Adam Telamdeu, that the most powerful teacher you can ever find, it is your own soul. And our goal truly it is to access this dimension of our soul. So if we can imagine, for some of us, Rabbi Elazar Azkari speaks about an hour a day, which I mentioned to all my students. For most of us, it's not practical. But even 10 minutes a day, just to realize the power that each one of us have to create that space for ourselves and to enter into those deeper dimensions and to begin to tap into the real power that exists inside of us.
Well, I think for those of our listeners who've been listening for a period of time, we've talked about, even last week and in previous episodes, how there is a dissonance maybe between the true self, the spiritual self, the soul, which is having a human experience in a body, and the body. And at the same time, let's say, for example, we need our ears in order to listen to the wisdom. We need our eyes to read. There's a component to the body that's physical as well. And I know that in some of the work that you do, the frequencies connect to different parts of the body, and the body connects to different emotions and levels of consciousness. If you could just share with us a couple minutes about how the sounds work or effect. I mean, obviously, most people can understand the idea that music is, transports us to different states of mind, to different experiences, transports us back in time or to the future. But this specific approach, the frequencies, the resonance, the vibrations, actually helps us to operate from our truest self as well, if I understand right.
Correct. So there is in our time, there is a whole science behind the power of frequencies, unique sounds. Let's call them unique sounds for those of us who are not sure about what frequency means within the framework of the sound meditations. But the idea of the frequencies in the build-up of the sacred sounds practice came really later. At the beginning, it was just, using my over 20 years, me being involved, studying, teaching the wisdom of Kabbalah, combining it with music that I composed for meditations. But in one point in this evolution, I heard very strongly, because the main guide in all the practice was and is Karen Berg, that showed me the way and paved the path and opened the gate for something like that to evolve and to come into reality, right? In the framework of what we offering our communities at the Kabbalah Center. In one point in the process, I heard very strongly the voice of the Rav. And those of you didn't have the chance to meet the Rav Berg, if you had the chance to read one of the Rav's books, you know that the Rav, along of many years bringing Kabbalah to the world, would involve science, different ideas from science, to help people just maybe to digest better the very lofty and powerful and elevated ideas from the ancient Kabbalists, and how do they relate to physicality and to our lives. And with this voice, I started to kind of not take a shift, but to add another dimension into the work that I was doing. And I started to take some very basic classes, sessions, books about neuroscience and about hypnotherapy, actually. And I realized I would say very fast, that everything I was learning from the point of view of neuroscience and hypnotherapy, maybe in 1 year, was maybe scratching the surface of what the ancient Kabbalists were teaching for thousands of years. And when it comes to our brain, we're many times mentioning that even in the structure of the tree of life, those of our listeners who heard about the idea of the tree of life, it's basically the spiritual structure of this universe. Everything made out of 10 dimensions of consciousness. They are unseen, they are spiritual dimensions, and they exist inside of us and within every part of this creation. The top level of this structure of the tree of life is called in Kabbalah Keter. In more universal way, if we translate Keter, it is the crown. And those of you who know a little bit about the energy centers, what is known as chakras, the crown is the top of the head. This is the entry point of the energy from the cosmic energy into our body and into our energy field. The crown, the Kabbalists explain, is connected with our brain. The ability of each one of us to control life doesn't begin with the way we act, doesn't begin with the way we speak. And I believe we spoke about it in many different episodes of Weekly Energy Boost, but it begins in the way we think. It begins in the way that our brain operates, what we call our consciousness. So very often we speak about consciousness as a spiritual idea, but when you bring it into physicality, without getting too much into the teachings of it, because there is so much around it, while the Kabbalists teach that there are 5 basic spiritual realities or dimensions, and they're having a name for each one of them, from the lowest one, which is known as the world of action, and then the world of formation, creation, emanation, and then there is the 5th one, which is known as the world of primordial men. These are coded kind of names for each one of the spiritual dimensions that means so much. We cannot get into it now. But as far as brain states, in the basic idea of neuroscience, there are 5 brain states. And we spoke about it a little bit in the other episode that we had, and Mordechai spoke about it in one of the episodes, right? From the beta state and all the way into the delta, which is the deepest, and then there is the gamma state. But there are 5. But when you learn the physicality around it, and when you learn Kabbalah for more than 20 years, you realize right away the correlation and the connection between the two. Now, the moment that we provide certain frequencies, which is a very physical sound, to the brain is being affected with no time, immediately. If you provide a frequency that can take the brain into what we call more reactive space, the brain doesn't have any choice but to react to this sound. There are specific frequencies that I use that we had for now, till now, thousands of people who practice, join the practice of the sacred sounds. And many of them heard about frequencies. When I asked how many of you heard about 432 hertz, hertz, by the way, means this is the way we calculate, we count how many cycles of the waves per second. Many people raised their hand. 432 hertz, I've heard about it. This is type of a frequency that calms down the mind. Beautiful. I asked how many of you have heard about 7.83 hertz. There was not even one individual who raised their hand. This is, by the way, the frequency that I use the most in all of my sessions. This frequency is known as the Schumann resonance in more scientific level, which is known as the heartbeat of the universe. So practically, scientifically, what happens to the brain when we provide this frequency, just the sound, this frequency, it is the frequency of nature. So if you can imagine what happened to any of us, let's say most of us, when we are in the nature, right? On the beach, going to a hike, on the mountains, what happens to all of us? We know, we can sense the shift that happens internally right away. I say that with the type of life we have today, I know I cannot go to the beach every day and I cannot go to hike every day, even though I live in LA, from just schedule point of view. Some people would say, you can, but practically it doesn't work for me, right? But using this frequency, and this is one out of many frequencies that I use in the practices, but using this frequency brings the brain into the same experience of being in the nature. And it happens right away unless you resist it. If you really don't want it, it will not affect you. But if you just want it and open to receive that alignment that can happen internally, the way that your mind begins to shift and your energy begins to shift, it affects everyone all the time. So this is one, for instance, frequency that I use, among many others.
I want to share a personal experience. A few things that Yehuda just shared reminded me of my own process. I was in that series of I don't even know, experiences that Yehuda mentioned initially, the lighthouse where Karen Berg brought different practitioners, different experts in different practices, and it was really transformative. But speaking about resistance, I had tremendous resistance in those sessions. And I consider myself somebody who, prior to that, I think it was in 2019, if I'm not mistaken, or 2018, I don't even remember. I considered myself someone who meditates, right? I'm a Kabbalah teacher, and I led millions, maybe not millions, thousands of meditations in my time as an instructor at big events and individual meditations. We even have an app. I lead meditations on the Angels meditation app. And I had this moment where I realized that whatever I had experienced until then, obviously it brought me to that place, but there was so much out there, and it literally took physical, I'm going to use the word discipline. I don't really know how else to say it. I mean, I had to go through a series of physical moments of surrender. And it's going to sound funny when I say it, but it happened while I was doing acupuncture. It happened while I was exercising. I had these moments where I realized that I reached a point where if I don't want to sound like it's threatening, but it was like whatever tools I had till that point had taken me to their final station. And from that point on, from, going forward, I needed to open myself up, not needed, but the universe definitely pushed me to open myself up to other assistance, other points of entry so that I could go to my own next level. And I was sitting, it must have been in the spring. I don't remember exactly what month it was. I was sitting in a live session at the Kabbalah Centre in Los Angeles that Yehuda was leading, and I was thinking to myself, I can't believe that Yehuda hasn't come to the podcast and we haven't done an episode. And I was thinking to myself, when can we do it? And the truth is, the first thing that came to me was this week. We try to make sure that what we talk about during the week is connected to the weekly energy. And this week, according to the wisdom of Kabbalah, the universe, the cosmos, the heavens, the creator, whatever you want to call it, are listening. And we always say that, our thoughts, right? The universe knows what we're thinking, even though prayer is important and speaking to the creator is important. Our consciousness is a very powerful communication tool. And it was my thought back then to have Yehuda on the episode of this week, because if we'll be engaged in this kind of work this week, maybe more than any other week of the year, it'll have that much more impact. And I hope that everybody who's listening, I shared the beginning part because I know that there's I was one of those people that to think about even sound baths and things like that, to be in a meditation for more than 20 minutes or so, my skin would crawl. Like I meet with people that they say, I can't do it, or I don't want to do it. It makes me nauseous. My words to you are, the fact that you have the resistance is actually an indication that you need it more than anyone else, that it's going to have more impact on you than anyone else, because it literally is that part of us, that lowest level of self, the reptilian mind doesn't like to surrender control. And, quieting the mind, opening yourself up to connect with perhaps the more dormant or untapped parts of ourself, initially it can be scary. But the scary part is the illusionary part. There's really nothing to be scared of. I think the real fear is not being open to it, right? What does it mean if I'm not open to strengthening my connection to my soul, strengthening my connection to my heart? And that's really what I wanted so much from today's experience, or however many times you're going to listen to it now, is that our listeners will have a taste of what it means to operate with an open heart, to navigate the world with a more open heart and to feel comfortable in that heart space more and more every day. So Yehuda, before we get into the experience, I don't know if there's anything you want to share about that can help inspire everybody to jump into the water already with us and dare to be more heart-oriented.
One of the things that I usually ask in my sessions, there are always newcomers. So many coming with the belief system that they tried meditations, they cannot quiet their mind. They tried many times meditations, they fall asleep. And then they're coming into conclusions that meditations are not really for them. So I want, just like in a minute or two, to at least to try to open up ourselves for a different idea, a different concept. Unfortunately, again, using the word, the term meditation, each one of us have their own kind of thought about it or feeling about it. What we do in the Sacred Sounds practice, it's all based on the Kabbalistic wisdom. The Sacred Sounds practice, which is type of a meditation, is designed to help us not to calm down, not for a stress relief. This is not the idea behind Sacred Sounds. The idea behind Sacred Sounds and everything we do in it, it is to support you, to be able to access a deeper part that exists inside of you. As simple as it is. In order to do that, again, there is so much wisdom around the way the Kabbalists would even pray. It says that before even the Kabbalists would pray, they would take 1 hour just to reflect and to access deeper dimensions within themselves. So we can do something that it seems to be very spiritual, but if our mind is attached more to what we call in Kabbalah the external aspect of the world, the noise of this world, we can do the most important thing. We can use the most important spiritual tool, and unfortunately we will be able to access a very limited energy in comparison to what this tool or this thing that we do can potentially give us. The first 10-15 minutes of each session, and today it will be shorter, so it will be a shorter experience, but in the 1 hour session, 1 hour and 15 session, usually that I do, the first 15 to 20 minutes, all what we do, it is slowing down our brain waves. There is no way to quiet the mind. Those of you still think, I want to quiet my mind. There is no way to quiet your mind. So think about the mind can operate on 5 different dimensions, what we call states. When the mind is attached, in Kabbalah we're calling it the world of action. In the terms of our times, it's called beta state of the mind, of the brain. When the mind is operating on this program, it is very noisy and there is no way to quiet this program. So if you try to quiet your mind, you will not have the ability to do that unless you know that it takes to slow down your brain waves and to enter into another state, what we call in Kabbalah the world of formation, or more in the terms of today, alpha state of the brain. Alpha state of the brain or the world of formation, they are not just spiritual ideas. They are something that we can check in the brain level. It takes to slow down the brain waves below 14 cycles per second. Our brain waves 99% of the time, beside of the time that we sleep, they operate on that state, which is the very active, reactive state of the brain. There is no way of quieting it. one thing that I'm telling all my students, our goal, it is not to enter into a meditative state. Our goal it is to enter and to access deeper parts inside of us, that we will be able to continue to operate from those deep spaces when we are out of the practice. The idea of
the goal today is to help everyone connect to their heart so that they'll be able to operate from their heart, not only this week, but when we're in that world of action and needing, answering the demands of the physical reality, but still being able to stay connected to that space.
Exactly. So I just want to clarify, I'm not a magician. With my experience with thousands of students, I believe that, I don't want to say everyone, because if you have some resistance, you'll not be able to access. But if you open for this, I know that you will be able, through this practice, to slow down your brainwaves and to enter into deeper space inside of you. However, to be able to stay in those spaces, it takes practice. It's like anything else. If you go to the gym, if you're going one time, maybe you will feel a little difference, mainly about the way you felt because you went to the gym, and it's amazing, but it will not really show up for long term. If you're practicing yoga or any practice, doing it one time, it will give you the feeling, it will give you the idea of what you are capable of doing, but it takes practice to slow down the brainwaves and to stay in those states when we are out of the practice.
So we're going to also offer at weeklyenergyboost.com, we have a special offering just for our listeners so that you can connect with Yehuda and the regular sessions that he does. What we're doing today is really a taste of that so that you can begin to experience that. And specifically this week, while the universe is so much more open and listening to us, we want to be able to break that ceiling of where we've been operating from and go to a higher level, or in these terms, a more slow and deliberate level, so that with time, we will experience the difference and we will see the benefits. So, Yehuda, if you're ready, we're ready.
Okay, so yes, I think I'm ready.
Yehuda is ready. We're ready. So again, the rest of the episode is going to be an experience more than anything. I'll be back at the end to give you some reminders. And as I said before, if you're interested in learning more about Yehuda's work, you can go to weeklyenergyboost.com, click the link, and join us for the regular sessions.
Yeah, just to clarify, since it's a podcast, some of our listeners might drive at the moment.
Right.
So you can listen to it, but don't do what I'm asking you to do. I will ask you to close your eyes. Don't do that. So since the podcast is being recorded, so you have the access. Is that right, Elisheva?
Yes, so you can go back. If you're driving, maybe the best idea is to pause and come back later when you're able to do it.
Okay, perfect. So basic recommendations before we start. For best experience, since I'm going to use frequencies and different sounds, and I'm going to guide the practice. For best experience, I recommend to use headphones or earbuds. This is one. And second, I want to emphasize, in case you don't drive and you are at home and you are in a safe space, I recommend to use blindfolds. It will help you, with my experience of years guiding those sessions, it will help you to access what we want to access faster, simply by using blindfolds. Two recommendations, you don't have to do that, but this will help you to have the best experience. Okay, so should we start?
We should start.
Okay, so we're going to start with few minutes of using the support of different frequencies and sounds to help us to slow down the brainwaves, to help us to bypass what we call the intellect side and to drop into the heart space. We're going to use the support. I'm going to invite into the space we create together. I'm going to invite support from the spiritual dimensions of certain souls that can help us, certain angels that can help us. The light of the Creator into our space. As we know, it is all about the intention and desire, and more we're getting deeper and deeper and bringing the intention into those spaces, you'll be able to feel it more and more. Then we're going to use certain, a unique tool of Kabbalah that doesn't exist in any other practice, which is the power of the names of God. We're going to use certain vibrations and sounds. You don't need to know any of the names of God, any of the Hebrew letters. We use each letter as the sound and the vibration within those letters, as the Kabbalists teach for thousands of years, as a key, spiritual key to help us to open certain portals within ourselves. Then I will give you some time, a quiet time, without me guiding anything, just to continue to do the internal work. And then I will count from 1 to 5, and I will invite you to open your eyes. So, we always start by finding a comfortable position. You can sit, you can lay down, whatever works best for you. If you need a moment just to put your headphones, your earbuds, if you need a moment to grab blindfolds, so you can do that, and we're going to start. So as you find a comfortable position to sit or to lay down, closing your eyes, in a simple way, beginning to bring your attention into your breath. As you breathe in, just feel, sense the air that comes in, and as you breathe out, as you exhale, bring your awareness into that space of your breath. The first part, it's an active meditation, so I will be guiding you, and I will ask you to use your mind to begin to awaken a certain level of awareness within you. So take a deep breath in through your nose, hold your breath, and as you exhale through your mouth, visualize or think about the number 3 times. With this breath, we begin to bring our body into a relaxed state. Using your mind, I want you to bring your attention into the top of your head, the space of the Keter, the crown, the entry point of the cosmic energy with your body and your energy field. In your own way, I want you to try to sense the flow of the energy in that space inside of you, with one intention: to release any pressures, any tensions from that space. We're going to scan the energy within. I want you to move your attention to the area of your eyes, your eyelids. With the same intention to release any pressures, any tensions from your eyes. Move your attention to the area of your mouth. Relax all the muscles in that area. Moving to the area of your neck, your shoulders, and your hands, and release any pressures, any tensions along the way. Your body, it is the vessel, the vehicle that holds the energy inside of you. What you do now, you use your mind to bring your body into a relaxed state, releasing any resistance, to allow the energy to flow inside of you in the way that it should. You keep moving your attention to the area of your chest. Allow your chest to open at ease. Moving your attention to the area of your abdomen, and I want you to scan your internal organs, your heart, your lungs, your kidneys, your liver, and with your mind, with that same intention, releasing any pressures, any tensions from each part inside of you. Keep moving your attention to the area of your back, the upper part of your back and the lower part of your back, the base of your spine, your legs, and all the way down to your feet, releasing any pressures. Now take another deep breath in through your nose. Hold your breath, and as exhaling, visualize or think about the number 2, 3 times. With this breath, we begin to relax your mind. The easiest way to relax your mind is to begin to use the ability, the capacity of your mind to operate above the limitations of time and space. So the way you do it, I want you to find in your mind a place that makes you feel safe. It can be a place from your childhood. It can be a place from the present. It can be a place from any time of your life. Take a moment and find this place. When you find this place, I want you to imagine, using your mind, being there. Imagine yourself being there. Feel that you're there. Expand your mind even more and try to see the details in that place, different objects, different colors, maybe even different smells. Feel that you're there and feel that feeling that this place is giving you, and you feel safe. In this level of mind, the Kabbalists teach us that we can be in few places at the same time. So I want to invite you to few portals that the Kabbalah is teaching us, giving us the ability to begin to open up different powerful deep dimensions within ourselves. I want to invite you to join me to the first one, which is located in the city of Jerusalem. As the Kabbalists teach, this is the energy center of the world, which is the energy center of ourselves, a space which is known as the Holy of the Holies. The This space doesn't only exist in Jerusalem, but this space exists within you. As you bring your desire, you allow yourself to begin to access this place inside of you. It is the most powerful place, the most powerful portal to connect between the physical and the spiritual dimensions, between the body and your soul, between the visible part of reality and the invisible part of reality. Allow this space to open up inside of you. And now take another deep breath in through your nose. Hold your breath, and as exhaling through your mouth, visualize or think about the number 1 3 times, and allow your mind to enter to even deeper space. Imagine standing on top of a staircase, 10 stairs going down. I'll be counting from 10 to 1, and with each descending number, I want you to imagine and to feel yourself going down the stairs, and with each step that you're going to take, allow your mind to enter to even deeper space. 10, 9, 8, deeper and deeper. 7, 6, 5, 4, deeper and deeper. 3, 2, 1. Your mind now is in deeper space, deeper than before. Within this space, I want to call in the support from the upper spiritual dimensions. I always invite into that space first my guides, my teachers, the Rav and Karen, inviting into our space the archangels, the angel Michael, the angel Gabriel, the angel Uriel, and the angel Raphael, the healer. Open yourself to feel the presence of their energy around you, with you. They're coming into our space, into your space, to support you, to protect you, and to guide you. And now, I want you to bring your attention to the space of your heart. Just focus your attention in the energy within your heart. Within this space, I want you to awaken your desire. What is it that you would like to clear from inside of you? What is it that might be blocking yourself from accessing and operating from that space of your heart? If there are certain fears that you would like the energy to help you clear, if there are certain negative memories from your past, negative experiences, what is it that you would like to clear from around your heart? If there is any guilt feelings that you carry with you, if there is any shame, bring your intention into that space and simply allow all of this to be cleared. The second intention, I want you to awaken. What is it that you want to expand inside of that space of your heart? Your ability to forgive, forgiving yourself for any mistake you ever done, forgiving others, expanding your ability to feel compassion. When you look at yourself and when you look at others, the ability to expand love inside of you, loving yourself in the deepest meaning of it, and expanding your ability to love others. Bring your intention into that space. The things that you want to clear from your heart, the things that you would want to expand within your heart. Imagine a door in the space of your heart. We're going to use certain vibration sounds, which are the names of God, that act as a key to help us to open up the door and to lead you to a deeper dimension within your heart, to allow you to access and to feel how pure and how powerful and how divine your heart is. I'm going to use the sounds with the breathing as I'm going to guide you. Yud, breathe in. Breathe out. Vav, breathe in. Hey, breathe out. Imagine the door in the space of your heart opens up. Imagine yourself walking through this door, which is leading you like a portal to much deeper space within your heart, within yourself. A space where you can feel, you can experience the purity, the divinity of your heart. Allowing forgiveness, the energy of compassion, the energy of love, expand and expand within you. Feel that energy inside of you, and as it begins to shine everywhere around you, I'm going to keep you quiet within the space for a few minutes. Keep focusing your attention on your breathing, on your intention to clear and to expand the energy inside of your heart. deep breath in. Hold your breath. As you exhale slowly, direct your breath and the energy into the space of your heart. Place your left hand on your heart and your right hand on top of the left, and make a physical contact with your heart. Feel the energy inside of you. Feel how expansive and pure your heart is. Today, to allow yourself to connect more and more, to operate more and more from this powerful space within you, your heart. This is your inner temple. This is the space in you that allows the light of the Creator to dwell and to reside inside of you. You can always turn into your heart, no matter what it is that happens around you or in your journey. Plant a seed of intention to always go back into this space of your heart. All the answers you ever look for exist in this space inside of you. All the healing that you will ever need exists within this space inside of you. Another deep breath in into this beautiful space. Hold your breath and slowly, slowly exhale through your mouth. Take a moment to feel and to direct this energy inside of your heart to specific people in your life, specific places, and even to the entire world. Imagine this light in your heart in color green, and imagine how this beautiful light shines from your heart and fills the heart of of this world, brings all the healing to anyone who needs it. I'm going to count from 1 to 5, and when we reach the number 5, I will invite you to open your eyes. If you use a blindfold, I will invite you to take them off. We're going to stay within a quiet space for a few more minutes with the intention to ground the energy and to reflect back over your experience. 1, 2, 3, another deep breath in. Hold your breath and then exhale with a sigh. And 5. I want to invite you to take off the blindfold if you used one and to open your eyes. Or stay within this quiet space for a few minutes. The intention to ground the energy. I want you to bring your attention to the area of your feet and to feel the contact between your feet and the ground, the earth. The earth has the natural power to help us to ground and to center our energy. Imagine as if there are roots coming down of your feet, going all the way down to the core, to the center of the earth. With this attention and intention, you begin to ground the energy and to center the energy. As you reflect back over your experience, don't try to analyze, don't bring your brain into the space. Simply feel. There's another dimension of understanding, which is the heart. The heart can understand. So as you reflect, just try to keep yourself within the space of your heart. Moment to connect and to awaken. Awakening gratitude within this space. Gratitude for the light of the Creator, the endless blessings in your life, all the support we received in this experience from my guides, the Rav and Keren, the archangels, the light of the Creator, each individual that joined this space with us, maybe from different physical place, but we are all in the same spiritual space here. A space which is beyond the limitations of physical locations, of time. Space that allows our hearts to be open. You can take a moment to shake your hands, you can stretch your body, and coming fully back into your physical space and physical body. Thank you so much to all of you.
Thank you, Yehuda. That was otherworldly, and I don't want to break the mood. So I just want to remind everyone that if you're interested in learning more about the sacred sounds and having that experience on a regular basis, you can go to weeklyenergyboost.com and read all about it, sign up for what calls to you, and learn more about all the different things that Yehuda does. He has the last music that you heard was one of his songs, so you can imagine how much depth and breadth of connecting to the light there is to be done when it comes to sound. You can also find us
to mention, mentioning, can you hear me well?
Yes, perfectly.
Perfect, okay. That usually in the sessions I do online, I turn off the camera. I couldn't turn off the camera, but it was okay. The reason why I do that, it is because I mix the frequencies and the sounds live in each session. So I hope, again, for those of you who join us, that I hope that first of all you could experience and you closed your eyes. So anyway, you couldn't see me, but this is the reason why I just couldn't technically turn off the camera. So I hope everything worked well. Most
of our listeners are listening on podcast apps anyway, so no, they didn't see you at all.
Oh, perfect. Okay, perfect.
But for those of you who are watching now, you know why. Weekly Energy Boost is available on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find us on all podcast platforms, and you can visit our website, as I mentioned earlier, to learn more about the things that we think are important for our listeners to know. You can also click the donate button and help make our podcast possible. But as you tasted today, I'm sure this is something more than anything else that you help us and support us by sharing the episode. The more people doing this work, the better all of humanity is for it. So thank you for continuing to share, and of course to rate and review wherever you're listening. Thank you, Yehuda, for joining us again.
Thank you for having me.
Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you next Sunday. Next week's episode is going to be on Sunday, and you'll find out why when you hear next week's episode. Have a fabulous one, and we'll see you next time on the Weekly Energy Boost.